Hey guys, welcome to the party. We are the Weekend Rockstars, your number one podcast for all the tips, tricks and licks you need for getting started in music. I am Scott Freeman, and with me is Billy, just picked him up from his MOT, Deadman.
Thanks for picking me up, Scott.
You're welcome.
I needed that lift.
Yeah, good old Brookwood.
Yeah.
You got to love Brookwood.
Love it.
It's known for its...
Brooks and wood.
Car MOTs. That's about it.
You get a good solid MOT in Brookwood.
Yeah.
Yes, and we have a special guest in with us this evening. He appeared on a podcast back in August, I believe it was, when it was a lot warmer and less wet. It is Mr. Tom Riddler.
Hey, howdy. How's it going, ladies and gents?
Yeah, man. Good to have you back.
Good to be here.
Yeah, man. So me and Tom, we've been hanging out today and doing some recording. So I was like, stick around for the podcast. Why not? Man, it's going to be a fun one tonight. We are chatting about playing to empty rooms. You know, the topic tonight is how to play to an empty room, which is kind of a funny one, you know, because it's making us sound like, oh, like playing an empty room is a great thing, which it's not what you want to be playing. But the reality of going out and gigging, you know, is occasionally you are going to play an empty room. You know, sometimes literally is going to be no one there apart from the sound man and maybe the guy at the bar, you know, or there's just going to be a couple of people, which you'd say like, even if there's just 2 or 3 people, would you class that as an empty room?
Yes.
I think for the purposes of this discussion, it probably serves the same kind of,
They are sometimes known as a man and his dog gigs.
Yeah, man and his dog gigs, yeah. So we're going to get into that. So first off, I want to go around the room and get some examples, some stories going about playing to some empty rooms. Billy, have you played one maybe in the last year or so, or maybe just last year, literally, because there hasn't been many gigs this year.
No,
that comes to mind. There were empty rooms.
Yeah, I mean, even like earlier this year, actually, we did a gig down in Southampton at the Hobbit.
Oh, yes.
Which is a great old pub. It has like this little downstairs room for live music, and they'd recently done up the stage and everything. It was really nice.
Oh, was it not? Yeah.
And and it's a really busy student pub. Lots of students in the pub, in the smoking area outside, all around you. Lots and lots of students. But not in the live room.
Not in the live room.
Does it cost money to get in there?
Nope.
No,
it
really?
was free.
Oh, damn.
Free live music, but did the students want to experience some live music that night? Nope, they didn't.
No.
We managed to, basically, Matt's girlfriend Lauren managed to drag some students in to the room. So we had a small... like about 4 or 5 people in there.
Yeah.
And it was obviously a bit disheartening to have we're putting on a night of live music and there was other acts on as well, which also played to an empty room.
Yeah.
And obviously we haven't played this in Southampton in a while. It's not like it's somewhere we have a fan base, so it's obviously someone new that we're going and new venue, never played there before. So that was quite disheartening. That obviously the venue was quite busy. But no one wanted to experience the live music. Yeah,
that's the problem with the Hobbit. I've played there a handful of times. It's not one of the ones I would play a lot, you know. Usually because they put the first act on goes on at 10, and the last act is at like 12 or 1 in the morning.
Yeah, we were on late as we were headlining. All these people were out and about. But I mean, it's just part and parcel of gigging, as you say. Like, you're going to experience these kind of gigs, and I've done many a man and his dog gig over the years. I've got some other examples which we can get into later, I guess.
We'll spin around. Yeah. Tom, do any come to mind?
Actually, weirdly enough, I think it was one I did with you, and These Are Teeth.
Oh, right.
In, I want to say, the YMCA in Woking.
Oh my word! Yes,
and
I
they were like
that.
literally. I mean, they were potentially 8 people.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that was the count that sticks in my head.
We brought a few people from Sheeptown, didn't we?
Yeah, but they were all standing at the back, and like other than them, there were maybe like 2 girls that we didn't know there.
Yeah. That was.
But it was. I mean, it was quite fun, wasn't it? Because I think the pressure's off, isn't it?
Yeah,
to some degree.
I think that's part of it. Like when you get to a venue and you're on stage and ready to play, and there's just barely anyone there, the expectations of it being like a huge, like mental, absolutely rammed to the walls, super sweaty gig, kind of go out the window, and you just kind of got to embrace the smallness of it.
Yeah.
And there's a charm to that and a fun
There's
to
a
that.
certain Zen mindset to find yourself in. Like, do you know what? I'm here now.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was. I almost forgot about that gig, but you're right.
As soon as you mentioned it earlier, it was the first thing that popped to mind, and I'm sure I've done more since, and I've done many before, but for some reason that one just really just stuck.
Yeah. It was mirrored walls at the back, wasn't it? So it made it look even more empty.
It would have made it look even more full if it was full. It would have been great.
Yeah. For me, it was actually the same venue. I played it twice, and I don't know why. It was back in 2017 when I was touring the second album with the Sex Whales. We did a little mini tour where we played Birmingham, Leeds, Edinburgh, and Glasgow. Because I just always wanted to play Scotland, and I hadn't done it yet, so we did that. And Leeds was all right. The Birmingham gig was pretty good. But yeah, the Edinburgh one, we showed up and we were so excited to play. Like they gave us, it was this place called Bannerman's. Billy, you've played there, haven't you?
I have. I've played a man and his dog gig there as well.
Oh right, yeah, you've done the same thing. Yeah, that's probably why we got the gig, because they just wanted something on, but there's not really an audience for it. But we played there again the next year. I told Nathan, who was booking the tour, I said, don't. I know we need to book a night, between the Glasgow gig and like the Newcastle gig, but don't put us at Bannerman's again. Book us somewhere else in Edinburgh. But for whatever reason, he went and booked us at Bannerman's again, and so I was like, right, this time we're going to hit the streets. We're going to really promote the hell out of it.
Yeah.
We made flyers. We were handing them out. It was the Edinburgh Fringe this time round, and so we were like, we're technically part of the Fringe, so let's really like go for it.
Blues Brothers it.
Yeah, we're gonna Blues Brothers it. It's gonna be
the band back together, man.
Yeah. And I thought, this is going to be great, because like I've been up to the Fringe just to watch acts, and it's always a great time. And I thought that's what we're going to get, and we didn't. Like it was the same thing as before, except less people. If you can imagine that,
negative space.
Yeah, negative space. Cause it was less people because the sound man, after he did our sound, just buggered off.
It's a strange venue, that one. Like I don't mean to disparage any venue or slag off any venue, but that is a weird venue because it's like. It's really sweaty in there, because like it's in like an archway.
Yeah, it's like a tunnel.
In a cellar, kind of like tunnel type thing, and because of that, the acoustics is pretty shit.
Yeah.
And if the room's not full, it's gonna it's not gonna, the sound's not gonna be soaked up.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, when the room is full, all the sweat is dripping off the ceiling.
Yuck.
And when we played there, I played there a couple of times, and one time it was a bit more full.
That's cool.
And all the sweat was dripping off the thing, and it dripped into the power of the guitarist's gear. And it all just stopped working.
Oh man!
Luckily, we managed to plug it all in some other way, and it was working again. Yeah. But it was a bit of a nightmare.
That's a weird one. Yeah,
a dodgy one.
See that you just said was something that I was going to bring up about it as well. Was about an empty room is the acoustics are totally different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Totally different. Yeah. Like you're playing and you can just it's all very echoey and it's an odd experience that.
Yeah. And so it kind of, when you play an absolutely empty room where there's just, there's supposed to be people there, but there's literally no one, it kind of becomes, to me, kind of like a live rehearsal.
Yeah.
In a way, which can be kind of fun because you just, you don't take it as seriously. You kind of gig mode, to me, kind of falls away. It no longer has the veneer of a show. It's kind of just like, we're just hanging out and rehearsing the songs. So you can kind of like
and there's a bar there.
And there's a
so
bar,
let's get a pint.
And let's get a pint, and you just kind of mess around a little bit more. Billy, what have you done in the past when you just end up with an empty room?
Well, I mean, I specifically remember a time, I can't remember where we were. We were somewhere up north in like the Lake District or something, right?
Yeah.
We were playing some blues festival thing, right? And I remember this guy, I don't even know who he was, we were chatting to some guy backstage, and he was just saying like how he was saying how AC/DC back in the day apparently would tour the UK and would play to quite empty rooms before they were popular.
Yeah.
And he said that they would always, put on the same amount of energy, even if it was like one person in the room compared to thousands. And that always kind of stuck with me. Is that he was like, you got to give it your all anyways. And so in a way, like my way I tackle it is just basically close my eyes.
Yeah.
And
pretend there's tons of people.
Yeah,
there.
literally pretend I'm playing Wembley. And just imagine there's a crowd of people there, all digging it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've done that, right? And I don't know whether it's just through willful thinking, but the room has suddenly filled up more. Like people have
if
come
you're
from
giving
nowhere.
it some beans and people hear it, they're gonna cut. Someone usually is gonna come and.
Like it was in London at I can't remember the place now. It was somewhere north of Camden, somewhere playing this gig with Fuzzwalker, and it was really empty. But it was, and again, a similar situation where it's free music. You just have to walk through the door. And we started our set, and it's pretty empty. Did the closing my eyes technique, literally like zenifying, fucking wishing the people come in.
Yeah.
And then open my eyes, suddenly there's people there. I'm like, whoa! They're there.
You managed to materialise.
So
some
it's like I wished them there.
Manifested a crowd.
Yeah. Doesn't happen often. Probably happened like once.
I actually, on the subject of giving it some beans, I saw, however long ago it was, in some random pub in London somewhere, probably not far away from where your gig was, in Camden. I saw Enter Shikari.
Oh, yeah.
Before anyone really knew who they were.
Big,
And there were, less than 10 people in the room, and they still gave it the full, big chips.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. It was great fun. And they didn't even seem to notice that there were only 10 people in the room. And I had a great fucking time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, sometimes those gigs where there are less people can be some of the most memorable, some of the funnest ones to play. You know, there was some other place we played on the tour. And there was literally one guy in the crowd, but he was really into it, and so we just absolutely went for it, and we were pulling him up on stage, and dancing around
for you.
This one's for you, dude. You know, and
our number one fan.
You know, and that's quite a singular experience to have a band playing to just you, and it's this really, you know, that's a gig that's gonna stick with you. You know, maybe more than I don't know, a really big gig, you know. So, yeah, man. So, I think it's an interesting thing. I think you can also see bands that have quite a bad attitude. Towards it, and use it as an occasion to kind of kick off. And start slagging people off who perhaps organised it or are running the night. You know. Or start slagging off the one person in the crowd who is there. You know, have you seen that before?
Oh yeah, this one time at a gig in Bracknell, I think it was something like that.
The Acoustic Couch.
Yeah, there.
Oh yeah.
The band that we were supporting had set the gig up, and obviously we were expecting them to bring some people because we'd never played Bracknell before, and it was their gig, you know. And they didn't really bring hardly anyone, and it was a really empty room. That's a really big room. There's really big space there.
It's massive space.
And you could tell the singer was frustrated, and he ended up kind of almost having a bit of an argument with one of his bandmates on the stage in front of everyone. It was really awkward. It was he started telling him off for playing something wrong. And it was like. Jeez, man! Calm down.
the golden rule about making a mistake on stage is just pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's the absolute number one rule because no one else has heard the song before. Surely.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Tom will know this, but I am known to give the look of death.
Yeah, I've had it loads of times.
Oh, I get it from Don all the time, even if it's her mistake.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've seen you guys play together so many times. I've noticed when you fluff something up, she'll look at you. She laughs a lot of the time when you do it, though. So it's.
She'll sometimes she'll point me out.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes it's her fault that's made the mistake, and she'll still blame me.
Yeah. But yeah, no, kicking off a fight with your own band member on stage. I mean, man, I don't think that's ever.
I've heard stories as well about this other band that had already rubbed me up the wrong way. I'm not going to make any names, but apparently when they returned to this venue that we played with them, they gave it the big I am, thinking that they're the dog's bollocks and everything.
Yeah.
And this time, everyone watched the support bands and then apparently left when it was their set.
Yeah.
And apparently the singer threw a right tantrum on stage and threw equipment around. Because no one had stayed to watch their band. It's like, mate, I was like, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah.
If maybe if you weren't the kind of person that threw tantrums like a child and threw equipment around stage, people might actually want to watch your band.
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe,
Quite possibly.
It's quite possible. I'm just throwing it out there as a concept,
Yeah. But have you ever got to a gig and you've seen it completely empty and there's no one there, and maybe like the sound man's even a bit flaky and it's not happening and the promoter isn't there and it seems like there really isn't a gig to be had? Have you ever got to one of those gigs and then just gone home again?
What that I'm playing or just seeing?
So that you're playing. Have you ever got to a gig and like you're ready to set up? It's all been organised and you get there, but like there's no promoter there. The barman is a bit confused as to like who you are.
You've just reminded me of a gig that never happened.
Okay.
This is back in Albany Down years ago, like probably about 10 years ago. We had this gig in London, somewhere near the BT Tower. Right. In a pub there, right. And
what's the pub? Can you remember what the pub was called?
No idea. Can't remember.
I've played one right under the BT Tower at some point.
So we turned up at this pub, and no one there knew anything about us playing. But there was some live music happening that night.
Yeah.
And the sound engineer didn't seem to know where we were on the bill, and the promoter was nowhere to be seen. So we're like, oh, we're gonna go get some dinner and we'll come back. So we went and had some Chinese dinner.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Took our time with it. Went back. And still, no one knew what was going on, so we're like, oh, well, we'll just go home then. We just went home. How was that? The gig that never was.
That's
a question, isn't it? Have you ever turned up to a gig and found there was no one there and been kind of secretly a bit relieved?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. It didn't really look like it was well managed or anything was really... Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird night.
Okay, so it's interesting. So it seems you guys possibly played the same venue.
I don't know. Our little venue that was near the BT Tower, our gig went fine.
Yeah.
Except my trousers fell down on stage.
Oh, it wasn't part of the act.
No, it wasn't.
I can't remember. It was so long ago. Oh, another interesting thing that happened tonight was one of the other bands were like hanging out front, and I was chatting to one of them, and he went to light a cigarette and he lit his hair on fire because there's so much product in it. So that was quite funny.
Were they a hair metal band?
Just emos. Yeah, this was back when emos was still just about a thing and they were dying out a bit.
The subculture was hanging on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still kind of are around, man.
Yeah,
we
were discussing this the other week when I dropped Tom back off home. We were talking about, like, when did the emo subculture kind of, like... when was it in its death throes? And you feel like it's still kind of it's still kind of
there
around.
on the down low. Like
nowadays,
scene kids are still
around.
Yeah,
it's called scene kids rather than emo kids.
Because this girl that worked with one of my flatmates. So like I walked into the shop that she works in because free chocolate. She works in the chocolate shop, and the girl was behind the counter, and I was like, God damn, if I was this, you just remind me of every girl that I fancied when I was 15. You know? I didn't realise people like you still existed.
Yeah. See, I remember that when we were at school, and like people would be like, "Oh, there are goths and grungers and emos," and then like suddenly scene kid was a thing. And I was just like, "Oh, you're not an emo, you're a scene kid." And like there seemed to be no emos. Everyone was just a scene kid. I was just like, who are these like mythical emos?
Yeah. Well, if we're gonna get really technical,
okay.
Emo was actually emotional punk, so that would have been stuff like
late 90s.
Yeah. That would have been like DC punk, and the look was like thick rimmed glasses and a plaid shirt and like kind of a little bit nerdy, and it was nothing like that all of that fringe and like.
That came out of My Chemical Romance.
More or less.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Fall Out Boy.
I absolutely love. My Chemical Romance. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. It's a great album.
Okay.
The Greasy Fringe came later.
Yeah, definitely did.
Yeah. So kind of taking that and going back to the subject we were on before, slightly different subject, but how do you play to a room
for emo kids?
So I've got a story here that involves quite a famous band now. How do you play to a room that's unresponsive?
It's like not your audience.
Not your audience doesn't get it. I've played a few of these in my time, but like my earliest memory of it was, played at the Underground in Egham, which no longer exists.
Is that the Burger King now?
I don't know. That was the Iguana. That was the Iguana. No.
Yeah.
The Underground was near the train station.
I never knew that one.
It was.
Oh, I remember it. Yeah. It used to be. There was the pub, and there was the yeah. I remember it.
And so I played there with one of my secondary school bands. We were called Pink Final, and we were like a Guns N' Roses style thing. And we got the gig. One of our mates at school, his older brother, was 18, and he got us this gig there. And we were playing before this band called Yumi at 6.
Oh, I wonder if anyone's heard of them.
And it was like their second or third ever gig. And we got in the room and we were, as I said, like Guns and like all dressed in like the denim and everything, trying to like do that whole look. And everyone in the room is wearing, a tight black t-shirt, black skinny jeans, the big black fringe, and the eyeliner, and like everyone looked like that. It was, and we were just there in our denim, just like, guys. And we got up and we played our stuff and we went for it. Trying to entertain these guys, and they just stared at us. Like literally, there was a guy. I was like going Rah! Into the mic, and there was a guy stood like as close as you are to me, who just stared at me, just like the whole time. And I was like, it was just totally unresponsive. And then Yumi at 6 came on, and they played, and everyone went nuts. And then I was so frustrated, like they didn't respond to us. I was just like, this band's not going anywhere. And then like 6 months later, they're touring with Paramore, and I was just like, eating my words. So have you ever played a gig like that, Billy?
Oh yeah, like thinking back to like when I was in my Albany Down days, I guess, like you'd play places like you would get booked on the strength of being marketed as a blues band, even though we weren't a blues band. It was ridiculous that we were even considered a blues band, because we were just a rock band, like a classic rock kind of sounding band. So you go to these blues clubs where people were there for blues music, and you playing like some really like heavy rock, and they would be so turned off by it. You could tell like some people would obviously be into it, but there was quite a few that weren't into it. And I think that's just a case of picking the right gigs, really. Make sure you're playing to the right crowds. So, earlier this year happened again in a way, like we Fuzzwalker supported The Members, which is like an old 70s punk band from locally, like from Staines, that played at the London Stone, and we supported them. And I thought, for sure, there's got to be some crossover there with like punk music, because we're very DIY with our music, and we kind of got like that kind of punkiness, but also it's kind of a bit too indie, and we were definitely too indie for this 70s punk
crusty
style.
Old 70s
crusty old 70s punk fans, like they didn't really want to listen to indie music at all, because like there was a band on before us as well that they were just doing punk covers. Right. So they were doing like Sex Pistols and the Jam and the Clash.
Probably went down reasonably.
They went down real well, and then we come on and we're not doing covers, we're doing original music, and everyone's like,
I just remembered actually. I mean, to be fair though, like punk fans have got to be the hardest. Some of the hardest to get to please if you're not the right genre. And I remembered was at the New Cross Inn, and I cannot remember what band it was with, but it fit both of these descriptions. It was a man and his dog. Yeah. So it was basically playing to the other bands and a couple of people that they brought with them that were all sitting at the back. Every band I've ever been in has been a rock band. Yeah. So we're playing rock music, and the other two acts were just singer-songwriter, one person and a guitar. Yeah. It's like, and I I'm racking my brain for a specific example, but the amount of times that this has happened to me as a musician, that I've turned up and played on a bill and been like, why is it like us, a sort of classic rock-ish kind of band, a death metal band, and that guy's holding a bassoon? Why, and who booked this gig, and were they actually paying attention?
Bad promoters, in my opinion. Like you do get ones that will specialize in a particular like subculture or genre, and they'll only book bands that they think fit that kind of like bill, and because they specialize in that, then it's going to be, you know, similar bands.
Like, I mean, great, but
sometimes I find it more of these London promoters that are just there to make the pub some money, and they just book any old thing, whatever they can get.
Yeah, I mean, we did literally play with a band. I think it might have been a bassoon. I don't know. But it was like
that guy's holding a bassoon.
Yeah, like literally, like, why is this guy is literally playing? It was like a woman on a bassoon and a guy with a mandolin, and like then it's us playing just straight up rock music, and I'm thinking like, we got we followed like one guy and a mandolin. He was amazing. Like, he was really, really great.
Wow, okay,
He was playing songs about like old sea shanties about prostitutes from Liverpool and just like, it was really, really great and really very entertaining. But just, why are we on a bill with this guy? I'm glad I got to see it.
Yeah.
But who made these decisions?
Yeah.
Man, that's funny. Old sea shanties. Can that be the thumbnail for the video? Can it just be like Tom and like with a speech bubble? It just goes, that guy's holding a bassoon. I don't know. That just
make it happen.
Make it happen. Yeah, man. I had another one actually. It was 2016. It was while I was doing. I was out of work, so I was just playing as many awful pub gigs that paid well in order to pay the bills, and I had a couple of the fans come along. Do you remember Katie and Scatty?
Yeah.
They came along.
I remember this gig you're talking about.
It was in Aldershot, and I got booked by this guy named Gino, who got acts in Fleet.
Gino, don't worry about it. Was he a bit like that?
No, actually, he sounded like he came from Surrey, but you know, maybe he was in private. Anyway, so I ended up booking this gig through Gino. He was like, "Yeah, come down and play this pub in Aldershot." So I get there, I plug in, and the last Shadow Puppets second album had just come out, and I'd been blasting out Bad Habits, on my drive there, and so I'd figured out how to play it in the car, so I was like, I'm going to do it in my sound check, so I sound checked Bad Habits, you know, and halfway through sound checking it, the manager comes up to me and goes, "Hey, can you come talk to me, like, in the back room for a sec?" I was like, "Yeah, sure," and I told Katie and Skate to watch my gear, so I go back into the room, and he goes, "Yeah, who are you?" And I was like, I'm Scott. I was booked by Gino. And he goes, "Gino doesn't work here anymore." And I was like, okay. And he goes, "I'm not sure they're gonna like what you're playing, you know." And he goes, "Maybe best you leave." And I was like, "Dude, literally, I've had this gig booked for 3 months. You know, I'm relying on the money for this. So, like, you know, either you pay me and I go, or you pay me and I play." And he goes, "Okay, here's a compromise. You pay, if they hate you, you play to your intermission, and then I'll pay you half of it." And I go, "No, you're going to pay me the whole thing." Then forget to half of it. I was like, "I got bills to pay, man." And it was awful. Like, I got back out there, and even though I had my 2 fans there who were like cheering me on, there was just this couple at the bar who were just hurling abuse at me. One of them threw a crisp packet at me, which didn't go far, but like the thought was, the malice was there.
Wow.
Malice and intent.
That malice was there, and I was playing like, I don't know, like 60s and 70s, you know, punk and indie and stuff, and like stuff from the 90s, like Oasis, like stuff you think people would like, but they just hated everything, and I was just like, I kept trying to do something to please them, but I was like, "What do you want to hear?" And they're just like, "We hate you, just go." And I was just, oh man, one of those rough ones, and that's hard to do, man. It's almost worse than playing an empty room.
Yeah, definitely
gigs.
Worse.
It's just worse. And how do you deal with that? Have you had one of those?
We did a gig. I think it was somewhere near Richmond or something like that, right? This years ago.
Or was it? Were it just a bit posh?
No, it was a really weird one because we were playing this gig and there was like this really drunk idiot who kept trying to grab the microphone off of Paul.
Right.
But then also like we've been booked to play this pub. Obviously, again, we're a rock band. We're loud, but we're not crazy loud. We're just playing rock music.
Yeah. And
apparently, the Chinese landlady thought we were too loud.
Right.
And she kept like coming down to complain and like you're playing real loud. You know, it's a bit it was like that though. She was literally screaming at us, and
This is a question: is it racist if it's an accurate impression?
It was accurate impression.
I quite regularly do a very accurate impression of my old boss from when I worked in a phone repair shop, and he was very Chinese.
Yeah.
It's an accurate impression.
Yeah.
There you go.
Apologies.
Definitely.
Billy is sorry. Everybody.
Yeah, definitely not editing this section out. Okay, keep going.
But the point is, she was giving us obviously a lot of aggro, and but we're like, you know, your pub booked us like to play some rock music. Like, we can turn it down a little bit, but like, obviously it can only be so loud because the drums are already like you can't turn drums down.
Yeah.
And it was already quite an empty pub anyway. It was just one of those nights where it was just totally pointless, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to that Chinese lady, but you know, you kind of
shouldn't have booked you.
Shouldn't have booked us, basically.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Tom, have you played one of those gigs where you've had people heckling you?
I can't actually think of one.
Yeah.
I can't actually like directly recall somebody going, "You guys suck, get off the stage." I don't think that's actually ever happened, luckily enough. I've definitely had like bad energies from crowds, but never like direct heckling.
Yeah.
I think the best heckle I ever received was some guys just kept shouting, "Play gay bar." Play gay bar. The best thing about that being that we had accidentally figured out how to play gay bar at practice maybe 2 weeks before.
Wow.
And our guitarist absolutely hated it. So me, guitarist number one, singer and drummer just looked at each other and went, "Yeah, all right then. We'll play gay bar." And then James, the other guitarist, who you guys both know and you can probably both imagine, was just standing there like, "For fuck's sake, which only made it better. And obviously the guys who had been heckling Play Gay Bar are suddenly our best friends in the whole wide world. I want to take all your money.
Funnily enough, I've actually worked out a James Brown funk-esque version of Gay Bar.
Wonderful.
That I was going to get one of you guys to play on.
Speaking of the song Gay Bar, it just brought back a memory of high school, last year of school, like camp that we did for the whole year.
Okay.
And I remember specifically that song was big at that time, and someone had put a bit of paper on the teacher's lodge Gay Bar. Just as a joke.
Yeah,
I've got something to put in you.
Yeah. Have you ever played a gay bar?
No, I've been in a gay bar and I've had drinks.
I got bought so many drinks.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
I was like, "This is great. This is amazing. Like, why don't I do this more often?
I should come here all the time."
I hope none of these has a roofie in it.
We used to go to one in Brisbane for happy hour drinks because it was cheap.
Nice.
Yeah. That's Oh, and I did go to one in Kingston. I don't know if it's still there.
Okay.
And split up with my girlfriend at the time.
Oh,
well, she split up with me actually, because it turns out she didn't like men. But
so, wait,
that makes me the only person in this room that specific event hasn't happened to. You got split up with by a girl who decided she liked girls.
Yes.
So did you?
In a gay bar though.
Oh, not in a gay bar.
Wait. You were dumped in a gay bar by a girl who realised she's gay.
It wasn't like that. It was more a like we both agreed like, "Oh, let's take a break," sort of thing. Next thing you know, she's dancing with a bunch of girls and snogging one. I'm like, "Oh."
Oh my, that actually happened.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
I mean, that was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No,
Still really good friends though.
No, I mean, but I was. Oh my word, Billy, that's wow. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, stranger things have happened.
Also, she swung back the other way. You know, it is a spectrum.
It can be.
Yeah,
it can be.
Yeah. And then she swung back the other way again, and then back again.
Yeah.
At this point, you just decide that you like both.
Yeah.
Instead of back, don't flip flop.
No.
Just
yeah.
Sit in the middle.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to sit on a fence.
It kind of rides up a little bit after a while.
We're getting some real deep political correctness takes from me tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. But oh man,
Where are we? Where's the
gay bar? Gay bar.
Oh,
I've played a gay bar.
Okay, cool.
It was in Portsmouth. I don't know if it was. I
Official.
don't know if it was officially a gay bar, but
It was definitely at least bi-curious.
But the thing was, it didn't. When I arrived, it was pretty empty, and then as the night filled up with people, mostly in same-sex kind of pairings, and people started to, express.
God's sake, Billy.
Started to express.
Should we just edit Billy out of this
Yeah,
podcast?
just edit.
I just like getting a reaction out of Scott. I don't mean to be this rude.
But yeah, man. But yeah, as the night was going on and I'm playing all these songs, I started to notice people got two guys and a couple of girls making out, and then there was someone at the bar who I realised was in drag later on. I thought was a chick.
Very attractive.
And then kind of attractive, which is kind of confusing, Billy.
It is confusing.
But then,
I went to a drag show and
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 performers were just old, wrinkly guys in drag. And they were great. It was great fun. They were very entertaining. The other one was this quite young dude doing... and I was sitting there like, I'm so confused.
yeah,
I don't know how I meant to, because you're really hot, but I know that you're not.
but yeah, it's so confusing. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, but the thing was, I found that as I realised where I was, that I started thinking about the context of the songs, and I'm playing Golden Touch, by Razorlight, and I don't know, there was other songs where I just kept reading into the lyrics in different ways, and I felt really self-conscious. I was just like, I hope I don't play anything that's I played The Boys Are Back in Town.
Nice.
And I was like,
Should've Raining Men.
It's completely different when you play a song in that context.
Going all the way back to my point about AC/DC, you know they got big off the back of playing gay bars in Melbourne back in the Bon Scott era days, yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I can imagine
all the denim and
the shorts and yeah.
Schoolboy.
The schoolboy.
I was going to say the school uniform, and I decided that might be a little close to the mark.
Yeah,
it's out there now.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, man. So, how to play to an empty room
and a gay bar.
Yeah, we started off in an empty room and wound up in a gay bar.
Gay bar, very full gay bar. Yeah, man. But it's interesting playing different places.
I played a curry house once.
Nice.
You did. I was there.
Yeah, you were there. You had curry.
I
forgot you were there. And
I had the hottest curry of the night. I have to keep sending it back, and he kept bringing it back, and it was just it just looked like a pool of blood by the end.
Yeah.
Must have thought it was a bloody.
What
vampire.
is the weirdest? Is that the weirdest venue I played? I'm trying to think. What's the weirdest venue you've ever played?
Well, the weirdest venue I played is the one I played a drive-through Costa Coffee. In Swindon.
I played in a shopping mall.
Cool.
That was in the middle of the...
in the middle of Milton Keynes shopping mall. It was terrible because the decibels had to be really low.
Right.
So the drummer had to play with brushes, and everything had to be really low, and it just sounded shit. And yeah, that was weird.
It's just a bad place for live music, isn't it?
Real
Yeah.
weird.
The charity I work for has arranged live performances in shopping malls and been like, "Oh, we've got all these restrictions we need to keep to." I was like, "Why? Why are we doing it if we have to?" Yeah. How about you, Tom? What's the weirdest place you've played?
Oh, I think I'm going to have to disappoint you on that one.
Yeah?
It'll probably come to me as soon as we stop the recording later. I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, there was that
That weird one.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That time I played inside an
one.
eggshell.
Playing on a boat. You were there for that
I
one.
was there for that one.
That was
yeah.
weird because literally we were like right next, like where the band was performing was literally less than a meter from the bar, which was right in front of us. So you could literally put your drink on the bar
And like lean on it.
while you're playing.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
It was like watching your set and getting seasick.
Yeah,
It was
really
bizarre.
rocking on the Thames.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
There was that girl Amanda there, wasn't there?
I don't know, was there?
Do you remember that girl Amanda that was there with Leanne?
Amanda Holden?
Not Amanda Holden. No. Oh,
I don't
man.
know. I vaguely remember who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Maybe. One of her weird friends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I do remember now. Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah.
Yes, she was a character.
She was a character.
Yeah.
Should we leave it at that? Given
Yeah.
your...
There you go. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Anyhow,
Anywhere?
yeah.
Oh, I can't think of any particularly weird ones.
Yeah.
Just venues. Sadly, I wish I could say that I'd played like on the back of a tractor or something.
That'd be pretty cool.
It would be good.
Yeah. I nearly played at a body painting festival.
That would have been
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That would have been great.
And the only reason I didn't play was because
You realised everyone was going to be naked. Because that's a bad reason to turn down a gig, Scott.
The only reason I didn't play was because I met the lady organising it at the Grey Horse in Kingston. I was playing
She
a
was
solo
in full
show.
body paint.
You were there actually. But she came up to me afterwards. She was like, "Hey, I think you go really well at my event." I was like, "Cool." And she was like, "Yeah, it's a body painting festival." And I was like, "Ooh!" And she was like, "Yeah." She got my email and she emailed me about it, but it went into my spam, and so I just missed it.
No.
I got to it a week or two later. I was like, "Oh damn!" Because I just been that whole train ride back to Winchester afterwards. I was just thinking about what that gig would have been. I was just thinking.
Real festival of colour.
I was just like, is everyone going to be naked?
Yes.
Am I going to be like stood between two people who are naked and being painted?
Yes.
Who are just solid like.
They would have painted you.
When they painted me, it's like.
I would have volunteered to be painted.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked. it's like how am I going to be paid for this event in body painting? Yeah, man, that's the weirdest one I can think of that nearly happened. But, yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah. So in retrospect, we can say that if you play a gig and it's pretty empty, you need to make the most out of it. You need to celebrate the people that are there, and you need to not pick fights with your band members because
don't sulk about it.
Yeah. Don't sulk about it.
My number one rule for life in general applies to this situation too. It's just don't be a dick.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't show weakness.
Oh man, Cobra Kai never dies, right? So that's it. Yeah, make the most out of the people who are there. Put on the best show you possibly can. And even if there's no one there, play, because as Billy said, he played a gig where there was no one there,
and I wished them there.
And then he wished them there. So
powers.
Yeah, so get superpowers, A, and B, just give it your all.
Close your eyes and dream.
Yeah, because you never know. We all want to play huge packed out gigs every night, but it's not always a reality. Sometimes you're going to play lots of them in a row. Even like when I was out on the road, I played quite a few of them in the row, and it's so disheartening. And you just got to keep going. You got to power through. You got to find whatever it is inside that keeps you going and keeps you passionate when the shows aren't great. But even when they're not great, you need to make the most of them. And
you're only ever one show away from a good one.
That's true. Yeah. Yes, except when it isn't true.
Well, you don't know that at the time.
But you don't know at the time. But yeah, man, it's been really fun. It's been great having Tom back. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Yeah,
it's been nice.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Good. And with me, as always, has been Mr. Billy Deadman.
Yo.
Yeah, hopefully your car's okay.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah,
it'll pass. Yeah,
that's good. That's good. I've been Scott Freeman. We've been the Weekend Rock Stars, and good night.
Bye.